Sage Wonder coming at you from my van down by the river. So yesterday I did a video talking about the New York Times story that the FBI had raided Donald Trump's personal lawyer's office, Michael Cohen. And more information has come to light. Apparently they were after some documentary proof that he and Donald Trump had paid Stormy Daniels to not talk about their personal relationship. I could spend a long time talking about what's called mission creep, but I think that this whole scenario is absolute proof that the FBI and Robert Mueller from the independent investigation, that they just have it out for Donald Trump, that they are grasping at straws. Wasn't this supposed to be about how the Russians hacked our election? Let's not even talk about how this assumption that the Russians hacked our election that's been taken on by the left and the mainstream media, how that has affected the Russia-American relations. It's going to be found out that the whole idea that Russia hacked our election in any way is completely made up. And all they've really got is RT, which is a Russian television network that is being broadcast and viewed by Americans. Because, you know what, we can't trust what MSNBC and mainstream media and CNN says anymore. It's all fake news. So back to the Stormy Daniels thing. The FBI are grasping at straws. Robert Mueller uncovered this Stormy Daniels thing. He dug into it a little bit. He decided that there's some law might have been broken when Donald Trump paid her to be quiet about their personal sexual relationship. And I don't know, but you answer this question for me. Let's take this and put it in a different perspective. Let's say a married guy was having an affair with a gay man, and he was a closeted gay person who had a wife and kids. And that gay man said, "Give me money or I'm going to show these pictures to your wife." Wouldn't that be blackmail? Wouldn't that be illegal? Isn't that sexual blackmail? Isn't what Stormy Daniels is doing and did do, wasn't that sexual blackmail? Is Donald Trump the victim of sexual blackmail? That he had a consensual sexual relationship with this woman, and she was like, "Hey, you know, if you gave me some money, maybe I wouldn't tell everybody about the size of your woohoo." The whole thing is just, it's filthy dirty, and shame on you, FBI, for going there to begin with. And what's interesting is that Mueller took this information. He didn't want to, do it himself, so he handed it off to the FBI out of New York. And a New York judge gave them a localized search warrant to go in to his own lawyer's office. Alan Dershowitz was just on television last night talking about how ridiculously unethical this is. And I didn't hear him cite any specific legality as how this might be illegal, but he says it's definitely improper. He says this one incident has set back the attorney-client privilege argument decades, that they have lost ground now, that this is going to forever taint the argument that what you say to your lawyer is just between you and your lawyer. So, if they're trying to hang some campaign finance reform thing on him, I don't even know how to connect the dots on that. I'm going to have to do some research. It sounds like a real serious game of Twister here. This sounds like you're trying to put your hand over your back, under your back, over their neck, between the other person's leg to get to that red dot that you cannot reach. How do you connect the dots between this affair with Stormy Daniels and campaign finance reform? Because he paid her off. Did he not claim that money? Is this a tax thing? I'm very confused what this has got to do with Russian meddling in our election. Don't you think the President of the United States has more important things to do than to mess around with dealing with you and some money he paid to keep some stripper quiet about some backroom playtime they had together? Who really cares? We didn't care. Honestly, none of us really cared when people tried to pull this crap with Bill Clinton. I don't really care who he and what he did in the Oval Office as long as he did his dang job. I was one of the few conservatives that were like, who cares if he banged an intern? Is she over 18? Yeah, did she like it? Fine. You know, he didn't rape her? Okay, great. That's one thing there for us. Good, at least he didn't rape her. You know, if this was rape, if this was sexual assault, that would be a whole different story. He had an affair with a lady of the evening. Let's just be upfront about it. So what? That there's literally a slush fund? Did you know this? That there's a slush fund in the House of Representatives and the Senate just for the purpose of paying off ex-lovers so they'll keep their mouth shut about the fun you had in the broom closet. If we go after Trump, we're gonna have to go for all of them. All of them. Millions of dollars get paid out annually to keep lovers quiet in politics. And now she wants to go back on the deal she made. I believe it was a legal deal. I don't think there's anything illegal. If there's any illegality, maybe it's hers. Wasn't it blackmail? Was it sexual blackmail to demand the money to begin with? I mean, shouldn't you just keep your mouth shut because you promised you would? I mean, I won't tell if you don't tell. Isn't that the oldest contract between two people? I mean, you know, come on, what happens in the privacy of our bedrooms ought to be our own business. Isn't that what the left has been saying all these years? And now you guys want to be the ones to go, look, he had sex with a stripper. Oh, look, it's disgusting. Really? You guys, seriously? The level of hypocrisy right now in this country is utterly baffling to me. I will say this. Any judge that issued a warrant to go into a attorney's private office and home and collect things about his client, any judge that would do that is a disgrace to the idea behind lawyers and judges and courtrooms. That you are spitting in the face of your own tradition. You New York judge that did this. You probably took a huge bribe to write that warrant, didn't you? Or are you just so politically motivated that you'll destroy your own craft? You'll violate your own ethics, your own oaths, your own beliefs? That the attorney-client privilege is sacrament? Seriously. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I hope you are. I hope you're completely ashamed of yourself. I'm disgusted by you, if you want to know the truth. I don't even know who you are. I hope you see this video, you piece of trash. Write that warrant to violate that sacred thing. This may not be a matter of the law. This may just be a matter of ethics. But either way, the whole thing stinks to high heaven. Mueller should be fired. This judge should be disbarred and removed from his bench. The people that executed this illegal and unethical search of this lawyer's office ought to be fired from the FBI and maybe brought up on criminal trespass charges. I mean, the whole thing is rotten. It's illegal. To me, it just smells illegal. It's clearly just an attack on our president. And I got to tell you this, what's going to happen if they come to arrest him? Is that the plan? I'm starting to think more and more that they don't really care about what the Constitution says. They don't care about the First Amendment. They don't care about the Second Amendment. They clearly don't care about the Fourth Amendment, the illegal search and seizure, which is what just happened. They don't care about the Constitution. So why should they follow it when it comes to removing this president? Think about that. I'm going to say that again so you can let that sink in. They've shown, the deep state, the FBI, the far left, the alt-left, that they don't care about the Constitution of the United States when it comes to our First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment rights, Fifth Amendment rights. Is that what's next? Torturing people till they talk, taking away our right to remain silent, demanding we speak to the prosecutors and confess our crimes. The Constitution is there to protect us. These people don't care about it, so why would they follow it when they go to take our president out? Why would they follow the constitutional way of taking our president out of office when they don't follow the Constitution when it comes to our rights? If they're willing to do away with those, violate them, trample them, and otherwise trod them under their feet, why would they even hesitate at taking this president out in some illegal, but appearing legal to the sheeple way. I mean, if the FBI marched in and said, he's a criminal, we all know he is, he did this and he did this, we just can't prove all of that, but we got him on this, like Al Capone, we got him on taxes, we got him on the Stormy Daniels thing, and we're taking him off to the prison. Well, we'll interrogate him more until he confesses all of his sins. Are the brainwashed people on the left who don't know their rights, never read the Constitution, and don't know what country they're living in, would they stand up and go, yay? Are they that stupid that they would let our country go into the hands of tyranny so easily? We aren't. We are awake and are aware are not. We will not tolerate this. We will not sit by while a rogue agency takes a president out in an unconstitutional way. That this is why we have the Second Amendment. This is why we have the First Amendment, which you use that first. That's why it's first. You use your speech first. But if that doesn't work anymore, you have to go to stronger methods to protect the Constitution. You should and you will, and you are actually required to under the Constitution. That the Founding Fathers put a moral obligation on all Americans who enjoy the freedom of this country, that if it was ever threatened from anyone, foreign or domestic, that we are to rise up and take control of our government to make sure that the Constitution stands. Will you sit by and watch them take a president out with some unconstitutional, trumped up, no pun intended, charges, while the FBI in an unauthorized way penetrates the White House and the Secret Service steps aside while they put our president in cuffs for hooking up with a stripper and paying her to be quiet about it? God save our republic.